So, who saw Infinity War?
Oh, I did.
I did.
You know what? I stayed at home and I watched the best Marvel movie ever. Do you guys know what that is?
Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man
Beautiful,
3?
beautiful. I'm so glad that
Oh, yeah.
everybody can agree on one thing on this podcast episode.
Honestly, Infinity War was pretty shit, especially compared to Tobey Maguire and his black emo suit.
He is
Like-
just the supreme. He literally is the alpha male.
Yes.
I mean, just he walked down the street and he danced and he
Yeah, no. Who else has
Gosh.
the courage to do that? Like, Tony
Like-
Stark wouldn't even be able to do that. Come on now.
what character development that Tobey Maguire had. What a man.
I think one person I know could do it. But before we answer that, theme song.
I'm telling you just how I feel. So wake up the members of my nation. It's your time to be. There's no chance unless you take one. And the time to see the brighter side of every situation. Some things are meant to be, so give me your best and leave the rest to me.
And welcome back, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed last week's episode. We decided to take a little time off. Shrug especially decided to take a little hiatus. Welcome back, Shrug. Glad to have one of the main hosts back here on Manga Alert, as always.
Thank God.
Yes, thank God. I don't know. I don't know what we would have done. I mean, Harold was out of control. Absolutely out of control.
I know.
We had to keep him chained up the whole entire time, but you know what? We managed to make it through. So,
I heard that
Before
Neptune
Before
died.
that was fucking Apollo, who... Ugh.
ugh.
There's this one guy who keeps roasting Apollo in all the comments, and it's great. Keep it up.
Welcome everybody to the Manga Alert podcast. Once again, I am your host, Old Shaman, joining us again this week, not as co-hosts, but on as equals. We're like the gods of Olympus over here. The GOAT group. We have, of course, Gear Third Manga Reviews. Not Gear Third Manga Reviews anymore, just Gear Third Manga. I keep calling you reviews. I don't know why. I think you changed. When did you change your YouTube name, Gear?
I never changed my YouTube name. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Fair enough. And then also Shrug Pod joining us once again. Sorry to reiterate that, but you know, of course, Shrug is the GOAT. And then, of course, myself. So, we're here to talk about a few things today. Got a few things on the list of things that we need to cover. First off, our main topic, out-of-print series, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta love collecting those
boy.
expensive series that are just absolutely blown out of proportions on eBay, sites, and Amazon. Let's talk about one of the things that we all have in common, and that is owning the godfather of all manga, Osamu Tezuka's greatest work, Phoenix.
Blackjack, what? Oh, okay.
I mean, you're probably true, but, you know, we don't know that yet.
Yeah, Phoenix. Phoenix is quite the thing. For those who don't know, I'm sure most of you do, I picked up a good chunk of Phoenix. I have a little more than half of the volumes. I found them at a bargain bin a few months ago for $8 each, and that was probably the greatest find of all time. I'll probably never be able to beat that. So I scooped them all up. And here we are. I'm reading through it now, and a review out soon, maybe. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I mean, the way I went about acquiring it, I didn't scavenge in the wild. I didn't waste time going to comic book shops because I have a life. I actually work and I go to school, so I couldn't just run into a comic book shop and find things for cheap prices. I just went on eBay, found this really cool seller, said, "Hey man, your price is way too ridiculous. Here's some money. I'll give it to you if you lower the price." And he said yes. So I won't say
Whoa.
what that price was. But I got a deal on it, judging by how expensive these volumes go for online. So I got basically the whole entire set of Phoenix for under $200, and the volumes are in really good shape, just missing 2 volumes. And I really hope that I find those volumes soon, but it just so happens that the last 2 volumes I need are actually some of the rarest. So
Oh, yikes.
my chances of finding it in the near future, probably just not at the moment, because I'm not willing to pay or fork over like $100 for like one volume. I mean, volume 9 goes for about 150 currently on Amazon and eBay.
Whew.
So
Volume 9. Oh, I have Volume 9. Nice.
that's the
All
one
right.
Gear has. So he's got one of the valuable volumes. Let's just
It's
say.
interesting because that's also one of the shortest ones.
But I also hear it's one of the best. So
True. It's actually, I think it's 2 stories in one. So
that's what I heard.
Interesting.
So, Shrug, how did you go about finding Phoenix?
Well, I was on a camping trip, and so we were
you just
passing
found it
through.
in the wilderness.
It happened
Yeah,
at
like,
band camp.
like-
It always happens at band camp.
Yeah,
I
it happened
swear.
at band camp. So we were going through the city, and my friend was all like, "Well, I have some like homework due by the end of the weekend, so can we like stop by this Books a Million to get it done?" So we stopped by, and he was sitting there doing his homework, and so of course, as any normal person such as myself would do, I went and searched through all the manga section, and lo and behold, the first thing I see is 3 volumes of Phoenix sitting there for like really cheap, each probably about like $7 each. So I instantly start like texting Gear. I'm like panicking, and I'm all like, okay, which ones are the ones? And he like is all like, oh my gosh, and he's freaking out. I'm freaking out. People are sitting here like watching me like sweating as I'm like trying to put money into my bank account to buy these volumes, and I'm all like, oh my gosh. And I got only 3 volumes of it, but it's still cool because I got volumes 2, 5, and 6. So
Which 5 and 6, from what I've heard, go for considerable amounts online for probably about
Yeah.
60, 80 bucks. So I mean, granted, you save some money. You know, you bought under
yeah,
the
for
volume, which I think the volume retails itself for like 16 bucks. So you bought
Yeah.
less than what the volume even retails for. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
and they they're in honestly like better condition than like almost half of my collection. And
Yeah,
that's like
I don't know what
that's
it is because I
weird.
think we all have this in common, but the Phoenix volume qualities are really, really good.
Like your pages are white, right? Like all mine are white.
Yes.
And like the
Yeah.
covers
Yeah.
are in like I guess they're what's the type of material? Laminate kinda, or like they're laminated.
yeah,
So they're
it's just really good, and like they're over 10 years old, but
Yeah.
they barely even feel their age. It's pretty impressive.
yeah, so
They-
thank you Viz
really-
for making some good quality books that we can each
Yeah,
keep.
they really don't print manga like this anymore.
But yeah, they don't, unfortunately. But
Definitely not.
all right, so who's read Phoenix? Like who's picked up these volumes and actually read them? Because I have.
I've
have
read
not.
1, and I'm working on 6 now, and I've read everything before that.
Let's talk about 1 a little bit because I have a few questions to ask.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is kind of my first introduction to Osamu Tezuka's work, but I've almost noticed that his style of writing really reminds me a lot, kind of like as like a classic newspaper comic. I don't know if that might be the early adoption of manga writing. That could be it.
Have you only read volume 1?
I've read volumes 1 through 3, but I just specifically want to talk about volume 1 without much spoilers,
Okay.
because we'll probably have a Phoenix podcast, because it's that great.
See, I think volume 1 to me has like the most, like, I guess there's a bit of humor in it, some like fourth wall
it has a
breaking
lot
jokes
of humor.
and stuff.
It has like a lot of unsubtle humor
Yeah.
in it. Like it takes place
which
in
is
like
weird.
240 AD, and then there's like a panel of like a fan, like an electric fan moving, and like
Yeah.
just some really weird like humor
I
that I
know.
don't understand as much. Not that I don't
And it's
understand,
weird-
it's just not funny. I guess that'd be the right word to say.
Yeah, and it's weird because in the later volumes, like, that's completely absent pretty much.
Uh-huh.
But you also have to keep in mind, like, Phoenix was written over a very long period of time.
Indeed.
So, which is probably why the tone
It-
changes between each story.
It starts really early on in the 60s and then sort of goes into the early 80s. So I mean,
Yeah, because I believe the final Phoenix volume was the last one he completed before he died.
Yeah.
So, like, spanned his entire career pretty much.
so I mean, like, honestly, first volume a little bit underwhelming to say the least, but you get
Yeah,
into it a little
yeah.
bit more. It starts to get a little bit better. The artwork starts to improve. I think the style that Osamu Tezuka sort of gravitates to, and this is one of the questions that I was posed with the other day, and that was, is Osamu Tezuka overrated? Is a lot of his work blown out of proportion? And I can't really say because I've only really seen Phoenix stuff, so I haven't really read any of his other work. I've been really interested to check out stuff like Buddha and even series like Blackjack, which has also gotten notorious amounts of praise. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you're interested in the same way as me personally, getting into some of these stuff, but I definitely want to see what Osamu Tezuka has to offer because I believe he is the pioneer in terms of the manga community.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm really enjoying what I've read of Phoenix. Like I said, I thought Volume 1 was a bit underwhelming, and not all of them are as good as others, but some of them, for me, Volume 2 and Volume 4 and Volume 5 were really fantastic.
Future's really good. So, I really love that.
Oh yeah, I love how he connects all of the stories.
That's one of the things I really got into with the whole concept of Phoenix is that all these stories take place. It almost has that JoJo feeling to it. Not exactly in the sense of the characters and the humor or the action, but the sense that it's the same universe and all these stories are kind of connected in a way, but not really. But it's all in the same universe, so that to me is also really cool. And the fact that it's all these stories are all unique and individual are interesting. So that I do like about it. So I look forward to reading more. So
yeah, Shrug, have you started reading it yet?
I haven't yet. I have a few other things on my plate first before I start Phoenix.
Right.
But for the most part, I really like a lot of Tezuka stuff. I mean, the first thing that really got me into manga was Astro Boy.
The 2009 American film.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that was everybody's introduction to Astro Boy.
I actually knew about Astro Boy before that came out, and it's
Whoa.
but it was I've always really liked Astro Boy because that he was somebody who I had a lot of friends who got into older anime stuff, so it was Saint Seiya and the older Voltron and stuff, and
Speed
they got into
Racer.
that. Yeah, Speed Racer, and they were they found Astro Boy, so I started watching it, and I really, really, really liked Astro Boy, and I read into it, but I've honestly never bought some of Tezuka's stuff in my collection, but it's I'd love to get some Astro Boy in the near future, but I am really excited to read Phoenix from what I've heard.
Rest in peace, Dark Horse,
just
with the garbage Astro Boy releases.
Yeah, that's the thing. The thing that's keeping me from getting into Tezuka stuff is just most of it's out of print, and the stuff that's there, it's shitty Dark Horse omnibus.
You gotta watch out for Vertical Gear, so I suggest you follow him. I think they've pretty much printed most of his work, but I think on the horizon we'll see probably some reprints in the future, maybe a new series.
I'm hoping.
The Blackjack hardcovers, which before we transition into that, I mean, it's ridiculous some of the prices that are going up on eBay, but I'm looking forward to reading it. So to say, in my upcoming out of print manga haul, just got some really good shit coming in. Can't wait. But yeah, Phoenix is actually really great. Can't wait to finish it. Sadly, it was sort of the end to Tezuka's work because it could have gone on, but it ended up ending too soon. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
I mean, at least it's an anthology, so it's not the story just ended with no conclusion.
That thankfully is the case. So we have that to back it up a little bit. So yeah, out of print shit. I just kind of
Rave
wanted
Master.
to talk. Oh yeah, dude.
Oh,
I'm really hoping Kodansha can release a master edition of all the Rave Master, maybe an all-in-one edition, kind of
Please.
Yes, and have pinups of Lucy and the snowman. Please give me that. I want it.
Wait a minute. That's Fairy Tail.
No.
No.
The
So okay,
in both of them.
Rave Master and Fairy Tail are the same series, just retold. But Rave Master has death, and it actually stays dead.
Oh.
This was actually why, because I remember Hiro said that the reason he doesn't kill people in Fairy Tail is because he killed people in Rave Master, and it made him sad. So
that's horrible.
I got clinic. He got clinical depression from killing his own characters in his
Yeah.
work.
So you know it's hardcore then when characters die for real.
Rest in peace, blessed Hiro
People
Mashima,
die when they're killed.
the true master of writing manga.
Although even though I don't really give a shit about Rave Master, I do find it weird how they haven't reprinted it. Like,
Hey, wait, so like, yeah, I noticed this the other day because I have the first volume of Raymaster just like as an artifact
Nice.
because I got it for
Rare.
like $3. So I go to Amazon to like look at Ravemaster. Kodansha only has 1 3-in-1 of Ravemaster, and it's like 3 volumes in like the 40s.
yeah, because like, well, when they acquired the series, like most from Tokyo Pop, like most of it had already been printed besides the final 3 volumes. So what they did, they just released it all as a 3-in-1, but that's the only thing they ever printed.
Pretty much. And that's the only volume in print, funny enough.
Yeah. It's just so weird
I
because I
mean-
feel like there's some money to be made there just because of how popular Fairy Tail is, but.
Yeah, I think it's like a 33, 34, and 35. I just looked it up, like right here.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because there are a lot of great series that I really want to get into that are unfortunately out of print, which I can't afford, but at the same time, it's like, why would I? Because even some of the series that are out of print, they were so early adapted that they just cut them super early on. Like, series like Bastard, they only printed 19 volumes, and there's 27 in total, and then Viz just ended it, so...
Did they print all of Ultimate Muscle?
They did. So they adapted the entirety of Kaniku Man Nisei 2, which is the Japanese, of course, you know, Boku no Hero Academia.
Weeb.
Yeah, so sorry, guys. Weeb moment here. Go ahead and insert a caption alert with, like, alarms and shit and call it Weeb alert or whatever. I don't know.
Hey.
Fuck it. But yeah, so
not
Ultimate
manga
Muscle,
alert, it's Weeb
volumes
alert.
1 through 29, is actually not the original Kaniku Man series. So...
Right.
The original Kaniku Man series spans over like 70 plus volumes and is really just sort of a gag manga, and it sort of gravitates from a parody of Ultraman to its standard shonen action parody roots. Ultimate Muscle 2, which is what we got, is pretty much just a 29 volume series, and it kind of ends abruptly, and it's sort of a bad way. The final arc was drug out in 4 volumes and sort of ended abruptly because it wasn't doing too well financially. So it's unfortunate, but I guess going on in Japan right now is they rebooted it, so it's a completely new series with new art by the same guy. So I guess that has something going for it. I doubt we'll ever see it here because it's a Japanese series that has some really aged humor that I don't think will fit too well with the Western audiences, but who knows? We might get it.
Dang.
Wow, what a bitch that series was to collect. Volume 7, 9, and I think 4 go for like $230. I got lucky with my volumes and managed to get them pretty cheap. Thank God for used bookstores. I'm telling you, like, if you just search at your locals, like, some pro tips for when you're going out of print searching is to make sure you always check your used bookstores, because you'll always,
you'd be surprised with what you can find there.
you find some gems hidden there, because like people who were manga collectors like 20, 30 plus years ago, you know, when they were just getting into the whole hobby, there were some great series that were printed 10, 15 years ago, and unfortunately those series are no longer in print, so you gotta go on eBay, you gotta go scalping for these shitty sellers that are selling volume 5 of Banana Fish for $300. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, do they really expect you to purchase this? And one of the things I just despise more than anything is that these companies realize that there are real resellers online that are selling these series for this amount of money and making money off of it. I looked at a Dark Horse series the other day, Eden, It's an Endless World. I'm not familiar with it. I've never read it. I've heard it's a good series. But, I mean, this guy was selling not even a complete lot with a library copy in his collection for $675 on eBay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I could buy Phoenix for that amount of money. And I think that's a better series than Eden from what I've read. But, honestly, like, library copies... irritate the hell out of me. I don't see how anyone can put a value or a price tag on library copies, because if it was a library copy, I'd charge like $5 for it at the least, because library books suck. They're disgusting. I hate the tape that they put on all their manga volumes.
Oh God.
It is the absolute worst destruction of a book I've ever seen. But that's a rant for another day. I kind of want to go around the table and talk about what you guys have in your collection. What do you guys consider your most valuable possessions in your collection? What would you say, relatively, what you guys own?
I don't have much out of print manga. I mean, Phoenix obviously being the big one. But I have this one series that looks pretty terrible, but I haven't read it yet, so I can't really say. It's called DN Angel. I don't know if any of you have heard of this.
I've heard of it.
But yeah, I don't really know a thing about it. But I didn't actually find this out because like the volumes I have are really old. They're from Tokyo Pop. They probably came out in like the early 2000s. But I found out the series is actually on hiatus. It never finished, and we never got all the volumes in English. I think because after Tokyo Pop blew up, they never released the volume 14 and 15, and yeah, so I have no idea what's up with this series.
It's rather crazy. I can't believe that that series out of anything else was on hiatus. You know, the funny story behind that series is like I knew of that series' existence. I knew about it, and I think I've read a few volumes of it, but it was so long ago I can't remember exactly the story of it. From what I remember, it's just like your generic shonen, but
well, I think it's actually a shoujo, but
is it really? Jeez. Well,
yeah, that's what it says here. It got an anime in like 2003, I think. I don't know. It just looks like something I won't enjoy, but just because I own it, I think I'll eventually give it a read, and if I don't like it, I'll sell it off.
It reminds me of the fact that I own all the volumes of Rurouni Kenshin, and I still haven't started reading it yet. I don't know why it's been so long, but I got a deal on it online. I couldn't have walked away from it because I basically paid $20 for all 28 volumes, so
it's pretty good. And now the single cent went to Nobuhiro.
Exactly. So you gotta look at it that way, I don't know.
I wonder if Kenshin will go out of print now because of it. Like,
I have a feeling because of the backlash, Viz is probably not gonna print it. Just because as a company that might look bad, and I know a lot of people were upset about it, so.
And a lot of people right now are upset that the manga's coming back. Like,
yeah, well, I think in Japan it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh, for sure.
Over there, I don't think stuff like that is really treated as harshly as it is over here. And that
I mean, just look at the Toriko guy. I mean,
exactly. It just it's a culture thing. I can't argue with it. That's just as bad as it is. I think it's bad, but it's just how the population and the people perceive it. So it'll be back. I don't know if I'll read it because I haven't even made it through the main 28 volumes of it yet. So we'll see how it is. I don't know if you guys have read it either. So.
Yeah, I haven't read any of the new series.
I haven't.
Alright. Shrug, do you have like any more out of print volumes aside from Rave Master?
Trying to think. Oh, I mean, I have like Shaman King. That's not really out of print.
It's not.
No.
But it's a good series. It's the reason my namesake exists today.
Oh, I think that Nightmare Inspector is out of print.
Wait, you have Nightmare Inspector?
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, I have the. There's it's like a 9-volume series, and it's like I got 6 volumes because I saw that like Gear had it, and so I was like, I thought it'd be really funny if it like just really sucked, and we both read it, and it was just like the worst thing in the world. So
yeah.
But I only bought them because it was like it was really
so
cheap.
I looked it up. Nightmare Inspector is actually still in print, but I kind of want to talk about it just because it's so weird. Like, Shaman, you said you've never heard about this.
No, I haven't, but I'm interested.
I found someone. This was maybe 2 years ago now. I still haven't touched it, but I found someone selling it for pretty cheap, so I picked up the whole thing. It's just a short 9-volume series. It looks kind of interesting, but I was just shocked with how unpopular. Like, no one seemed to know about this. I looked it up on YouTube, and literally the most viewed video about the series had 200 views.
Oh man!
I was just so shocked. Like, this came out 10 years ago now. Like, they printed these in, like, 2008.
Who prints
and
it?
it's still... What? Viz. And it's still in print. Like, you can still go online and buy the volumes for normal retail price. And it's just so weird. Like, I feel like
That
they just
leads me
printed...
to believe that they printed a lot of volumes and they just never sold
And just
them.
no one bought them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, huh.
Because, like,
I'm gonna look this up
I
real
never
quick.
heard of this series. Yeah, Nightmare Inspector. It's weird. I mean,
It sounds like a
does
horror
seem kind of
manga.
interesting. It's like supernatural thing. I don't really know much about it, but
I don't know what it is.
yeah,
It's very
and I
weird
don't-
looking, but it looks old school. Like Viz printed it way
Yeah.
back in like 2000, early 2000s, maybe late 90s, kind of. Huh.
It's weird. Like I
Kind of reminds me of Kingdom Hearts. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Like it seems short. I really got to get around to checking it out
Huh.
at some point because I've had it for so long.
It's not like a big series. It's only
Might be
like
one
eight
of your
volumes.
obscure reviews coming up in the near future.
It'll probably end up being like the most viewed video on the.
There you go,
series,
man.
Jesus.
Go for it. Might bring
like-
some notoriety to the series.
But yeah, I'm also like just the fact that it got an English release anyway.
Well,
That's so weird.
Viz was really testing the waters with a lot of their stuff that they were releasing back in the early 90s. Banana Fish being one of them. I mean,
Is that getting reprinted or
it
is it?
could be a thing because the anime
Yeah,
is supposed
'cause
to be
yeah.
the main reason as to why it's coming over here. Usually, it's the case with a lot of manga. The success of it is based around the anime being released here in the West. For whatever reason, that seems to be
yeah.
the success of it because the anime is always more popular.
Oh, for sure.
But
Oh yeah, and like you just look at like release patterns, like friggin' when I know when the Attack on Titan anime came out, like Kodansha just shit those out every month until they were caught up, and like Fairy Tail and
the sales just keep going up and up and up. But yeah, I mean, it is really sort of sad that even companies like Dark Horse, like whatever's going on with the Blade of the Immortal omnibuses and the fact
Oh
that
my
they're
God.
just like they go out of print like weeks
Oh,
after
man.
they're released and just
I know.
it's fucking ridiculous. Like Dark Horse needs to get their shit together. I don't know who's running their manga department. I've talked to a few people, like for instance, I guess Code Provider was pretty in with the manager or the I guess the head of the manga department, and I guess they listened to him pretty well about printing certain series and whatnot. But even then, it's like I don't know what they're doing or what their marketing strategy is because a lot of the times they just say fuck it. I mean, Berserk Anime 2016 didn't even really get boosted by the manga sales.
Oh,
Like,
well,
if anything, that
I mean,
probably
that's not surprising, but yeah.
lowered the sales because of how bad the anime was. But
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
But,
really
like
really
I keep
true.
checking back at Dark Horse series. Like I mean, they all seem to be there now, but like some of the Blade of the Immortal volumes have gone out of print a few times. Even like Volume 4, which is like the second most recent one I saw, was like running low in stock.
yeah,
I'm like, what are you doing? And I checked the I Am a Hero omnibuses, and they're also like only a few left in stock. I've seen them go out of print too. I'm like, what are you doing?
yeah.
Like that's why I'm worried because I want to collect I Am a Hero, even though the quality is iffy of the omnibus. But
Yeah.
I really
it's
do want to
just
collect
so
it, but I'm
much.
scared because I want to wait for more to come out. But I'm scared because if I do wait, I might not be able to find the others.
They're like the sales aren't good enough. Series is canceled.
Well, dang.
Oh man.
I just don't understand
Another-
the marketing strategy behind it. I own probably the majority of my Dark Horse series that I own are all out of print. I mean, Blood Block Battlefront
Oh, yeah.
out of print, Gantz out of print, Blade of the Immortal singles out of
Another-
print,
Oh, what's it? Fucking Planetess. Yeah.
Planets, yeah.
Well,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
called Planetess,
Planets.
but I'll never get used to
Yeah,
that.
no.
But
I didn't even
It's
know that was the
whatever.
proper
Yeah.
way to
I'll call
say
it.
it.
I'll call it planets until I die.
yeah, no. Apparently it is because it's like actually like in another. Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking weird, but okay, yeah. I looked it up now. There's on Amazon. There's 4 left in stock for the first omnibus, and the second one is just out of print. Like.
Rip.
I'm
Apparently that's one of the best series of all time, so
it's such a great series, and it's short, only 2 omnibus, but it's just out of print. I'm like, why?
Actually, the other day I was considering buying this. I found the single volumes of Planet
Whoa.
X, like by Tokyo Pop.
Oh my god.
I found those. I'm upset that I didn't buy them
should've.
when I saw them.
But geez,
I
those
was
are like
I was gonna send all the Dead Man Wonderland and Tokyo Pop volumes to Gear because I know how much he loves the series so much, and how much he appreciates such a prized possession in his collection. So
Oh my
I would
God.
probably send him those, just to bask in the glory. The Tokyo Pop volumes actually look nicer than the Viz volumes. I think it's kind of sad that happens, but it's whatever. It's whatever.
we have on that note, we have another classic out of print series, Future Diary.
Ooh, boy.
Never
Oh,
We
actually-
all wanted
man.
to see that dramatic ending conclusion.
Yeah,
The
never
last
actually
2
finished
volumes,
printing.
The
We
last
gotta-
2 volumes were never shown.
I mean, maybe for the better.
All right, to all of our Manga Alert fans, go ahead and start the Twitter hashtag on Twitter. Go ahead and @VizMedia. Go ahead and say, bring us volumes 11 and 12 of Future Diary. We want them now in a nice hardcover deluxe edition,
Oh yes.
quality volume, so that
Oh,
everybody
sure.
can see it. So.
Sure, it's 12 volumes, same length as Death Note. Give us that Future Diary all-in-one greatness.
Oh, why not go for better?
Yeah.
Go push for that all-in-one edition, guys.
Mm.
You heard it. You heard it here. If you can't pay the cash, you're out with the trash. Keep that Twitter hashtag going, boys. Anyways, what else can we talk about here in the Manga Alert podcast?
Well, there's Battle Royale. We've talked
Oh.
about that a few times, but
Yes.
Oh yeah, but
Let's talk about how Viz Media has owned the license for nearly 5-6 years now, and they have not done a single thing with it.
and come on, with the rise of Fortnite, like they'd make bank. Come on.
I love Fortnite.
market
It's my
it right,
favorite game.
And they say, like, hey guys, this was the first survival horror game. People will buy it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like,
I mean, people probably buy it anyway, just because.
well, yeah, of course. It's got enough notoriety that I'm sure it would probably pick people, back into the swing of things. But honestly, I mean, it saddens me that the best thing to come out of fucking Tokyo Pop is the Ultimate Editions, which were nice hardcover volumes with colored pages and just good quality in general. I mean, the pages, the panels, all enlarged, all the text, all the beautiful things that God of War should have had on launch day but didn't. Decided that Tokyo Pop would, they implemented probably one of the best features about a nice hardcover edition, and that is, of course, quality pages, enlarged text, and beautiful, crisp color pages. That's something we all want to see. Unfortunately, Volume 5 is like $300 online, so good luck ever finding that.
There's an option here. There's an option here on Amazon for $1,500 for Volume 5. I think I'll go with that.
That's a pretty good deal.
Speaking
But
of like
yes.
super expensive shit, there's also No Longer Human.
What the hell happened with
Oh,
that?
man.
Like, I remember,
Yeah, it's just fallen off the face of the freaking
the
earth.
sad part about it is like I had so many opportunities to buy this series while I was collecting manga.
Oh, wow.
When it
Yeah.
first came out, I mean, Barnes and Noble would have volumes like 1, 2, and 3, and have like multiples of 2 on their bookshelves. And it just it's funny when I think about it today because it's like, like I could have probably bought their entire shelf and had made money back on selling these volumes if I would have done that. But I'm not a scumbag reseller. I'm just a collector. I don't sell manga. I just collect it. So,
But yeah, this is honestly like probably like especially Volume 3 is probably one of like the most expensive out of print volumes I've ever seen. Like
$500. Good luck.
yeah,
And-
that's insane.
Is it a 3-volume series, or from what I've heard, like the series is still ongoing over in Japan?
I'm not sure actually. Like I really don't know much about this manga. Like I've heard it's really good, but I'm not sure. Let me see.
I think most of the history I hear about this series is that it's fucked up, but that's
Yeah,
about
it
all
was
I
a-
hear about
yeah.
it. So
It was a novel, and it looks like the manga's done. I think that was just it, the 3 volumes. Huh.
It's crazy. I like people. I don't know. No Longer Human is like one of those series that it's like I have no idea what it's even about, but it's just like it just sells for like a crazy amount.
Yeah, it's weird. I have no clue how that shit works.
No. But yeah, I guess Viz has no desire to reprint it because it either sold terribly or, you know,
Well,
it's a
doesn't
3-volume
Vertical-
series.
Doesn't Vertical have that?
Oh, that's right. Vertical
Maybe?
printed it. So
Yeah.
fuck. Yeah, never mind. Ignore me, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about. The thing with Vertical, from what I've noticed, is that they're a company that really just loves manga. I don't know. They print a lot of series that just normally you wouldn't see any of these companies ever pick up to begin with because they know that they won't be successful.
Yeah.
But Vertical is the underdog. They go for the series that they know people will not buy for whatever reason. That's their business strategy or their
Hardcore
model,
fans
I guess.
will buy though.
But yeah, so they print a lot of Osamu Tezuka's work, and you know you can get a lot of that stuff in paperback, and you know, but they do these beautiful hardcover editions for a lot of their series, like Blackjack volumes 1 through 3, all nice crisp hardcover editions with color pages, and just they look beautiful.
And I know
really
they
love to
had
buy
those
'em.
Mobile Suit Gundam ones.
Gundam Origins, like
Yeah.
I don't even like Gundam, but I would definitely buy that series and get into
Yeah.
it if I could get a hold of those, which they're all in print currently, but I think it'll be a matter of time before once all those volumes will be out of print.
But they're already so expensive. I
Like,
want them so
It
bad.
looks so nice, but I'm like, oh, this.
They're so pretty, and they're like hardcover.
They're like
and
$30
They're so
each.
nice. They're like $30. I hate it for like people up in Canada. It's probably like $40 for you guys.
Yeah, I've ran 35.
Not counting shipping either.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm checking
that's
now. Like
like-
they're running low on stock. Some of these on
That's
Amazon.
and
So
it's kind of scary because I looked on Amazon the other day, and a lot of them showed that they were like only 5 in stock, but not more on the
Yeah.
way. So that kind of leads me to believe that they're starting to go out of print here pretty soon. Which, guys, I have a pretty good question for you. I got a Barnes and Noble gift card, and I have no idea what to do with it.
Barnes and Noble. I mean, I'd say like wait.
Blue Exorcist, baby. Woo.
I'd say like wait for like them to have a manga sale.
Boku no Hero no Academia.
Yeah, you could do that, get all those, but
Yeah.
because like I know
could,
here.
but I want to get good series. So what are your recommendations?
So Magi.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, okay. I'll buy the first volume of Magi. Sounds good.
there you go. Made
Hey,
in
we
Abyss.
did it.
No,
that's never going to happen.
never. You would need to tie me down to a table, give me $1 million, and say,
Soul
"Here
Eater.
you go." You know, Soul Eater is a series I wouldn't mind getting into, but you know what? Who's worse than Dark Horse? Maybe Yen Press. Let's talk about those prices here for a minute and the quality.
Oh,
Imagine
my
you
God.
take Kodansha's shitty paper quality and Dark Horse's shitty business practices, combine the two together, and you get Yen Press. That is pretty much the model of Yen Press. Shitty quality manga for the same price as a nice high quality volume that you would find in a Viz JoJonium volume. Figure that.
What makes me like the most mad is like the fact that they have like these bigger series like that were freakishly popular. So it's like I remember they have Soul Eater.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a Comic a Kill.
They
They've had like big series that I've been like they're decently popular, but it honestly makes me really upset 'cause it's all like
they have a lot of
for the most part they're
I
really
noticed
expensive.
they have a lot of because they publish a lot of light novels and they also have a lot of light novel like manga adaptations. Like they have Durarara and they have like Log Horizon and a bunch of these. Yeah, like
You didn't like Log Horizon?
I'm pretty sure they at least have the Log Horizon novels because I have one of them, but I'm pretty sure they have the manga too.
Log Horizon.
yeah, and- oh, yeah, and
series
they
that
have all the-
aired the same day as SAO, but who got the more notoriety? I wonder.
Yeah, I think they also have all that SAO shit too.
Ugh.
They have SAO. I can
It sort of
Yeah.
stunned me the other day, but speaking of like anime, like there's a lot of really bad anime manga out there, and you know, I guess the only exception to this rule would be Neon Genesis because the manga is great. But
Oh, yeah.
there's manga of really like good anime, like Gurren Lagann. I was just
Yeah.
looking through eBay, and there's a manga of it.
Yeah, I
But-
remember that.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Yeah,
I know
there is.
Steins Gate has a manga, and like fucking, I mean, of course, the infamous Cowboy Bebop one.
Ugh. We don't
I was just
talk
about to
about
say
the
that.
Cowboy Bebop manga here. Quote NZ anime manga.
It doesn't count.
Ugh.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
from what I've heard, the Gurren Lagann manga is awful and terrible, and wasn't even finished.
Yeah.
So there's like zero point in buying it, and rightfully so because it's out of print. So good luck buying that.
Kill la Kill has
Oh,
a manga
boy.
too.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Bully La
I
Bully,
don't
my favorite series.
Yeah, that's weird, and they seem to like be running out of stock also.
Mm.
It's weird. I think there were only 3 volumes of it, so I'm like, what did they do? Did they just recap it all really quickly, or
Guess so.
like that's so stupid. But back to the Empress, like I have like the one thing I have their Watamote volumes, and I actually think the quality on those is really good. They have like this nice matte cover, and they're really nice. But it's just the price. Like
Yeah.
the volumes are so thin, and they're more expensive than the normal volume. It's ridiculous. I
Yeah.
want to get more because I actually really enjoy the series, but I just it's so
Well,
much.
often when people bring Yen Press up in the conversation, I think of their more popular series that they currently keep in print, which is Durararar, High School of the Dead, which unfortunately won't have an ending.
Dararar.
Mm.
Dararar XD.
Durararar is Poopy XD. Soul Eater, and
I gotta
then
reread that
there's
soon.
Higurashi When They Cry, which I don't think any of us own.
Right.
But that's like their most popular
No.
series that they print, so it's like, you know, yeah.
Okay, straight up, how many volumes are there of Higurashi?
I
Like,
have no
can we just?
idea.
I don't
like,
know.
I
Like
can't
I
answer
used to. This is weird because like I know about this series. I don't think I've like ever given this series any thought in years because I like always knew it existed. But
Well, it's
now that it's coming back to me, like it's a big series. 38 volumes.
it's
Shit.
based on visual novels, right? Like the manga is not
Right.
the
Yeah, it's like
it's
they
not,
all
like,
die.
the real thing. Like apparently, like each arc is like a separate like situation, like a butterfly effect, like what would happen kind of situation. So like that's each arc, but like why? That to me would bore the shit out of me. Like telling the same arc over and over again, but with different outcomes. Like why? Who would want to fucking read that?
Yeah, 14 separate.
Is this
story
still going?
arcs.
Is this still
Well,
going?
No, but hold on. So it's 14 separate story arcs, but they have different artists. Huh.
That's weird.
What?
What is that? This is like comic book writing now.
Yeah.
What?
Come on now. This is none of
Jeez.
that American shit.
Excuse you. Excuse you. You set yourself, Yen Press. I don't think you know what you're getting yourself into.
But I remember
Weird.
picking up one of these volumes, and they're like $20 a piece, and they're like paperback quality. Like, no.
Oh. And I just noticed this, but not all the volumes are out in English. Huh.
Ooh, so maybe Yen Press canceled it?
Really?
Maybe?
Yeah, because the last volume came out in English in 2011,
Oh, shit.
and there's still
Dang.
like 3 that aren't out yet. Or yeah, 3 that aren't out yet.
Guess
That's
Yen
weird.
Press decided to end it. They weren't getting enough sales.
Maybe because the prices were so fucking high.
Yep.
Because people realize that they're just like having to put out a small loan for their manga
Reminds me of that
obsession.
High School of the Dead, the hardcover full color editions.
Oh,
Really
my
nice,
Gosh,
really
Don't
nice.
get me
Really
started.
nice, but I only paid like $20 a piece for them, so I got a deal on them. So
I just hate how they're all freaking plastic wrapped in the store. I can't
open that
it's
shit
not
up.
for me,
Whoa,
man, not for
open
me.
that shit up.
$61. Also about to go out of print. Nice.
Oh, the High School of the Dead on the bus, really?
Huh.
Well, it has like 2 left in
Oh,
stock.
jeez. Better
Oh
hop
my.
on that, boys.
50. God, they're so expensive.
Where
How
does-
many pages? Well, I mean, yeah, it's color.
Man, we're just running into stuff
Actually,
tonight.
I watched. Oh yeah, 700 full color pages. Okay, that price is kind of justified there. But I remember I like started watching the anime for this series and I hated it. Like I really couldn't stand it.
It's
so that's all
so
I know
fun.
about it.
It sucks, but it's so fun. It's entertaining. Like, if you go in
Yeah.
it with the lowest of expectations
True.
and just want to have some
Yeah.
awesome just action and tits, that's all you want. That's all you need to get enjoyment out
I
of
know-
it. So
Because, yeah, the thing with me, because, I mean, it's honestly been years since I checked it out, but I think I was expecting it to be good, which is why I was
it's
like, what
not.
the
It's
fuck?
not good, but
Yeah, it's
it's
bad.
entertaining. That's what I love about
Yeah.
it. So it's like
Mm.
that's the reason I love the full color. And the full color makes it obviously, the experience a lot better.
Yeah.
But like
And you really don't see that very often, full color manga.
that's what I
volumes.
mean. Like the only other series I can think of that is full color is Dragon Ball, which
Dragon Ball,
they've
yeah.
done releases for Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z in full color edition, which is crazy.
Yeah, but they stopped. Actually, I'm just looking at it right now. The full color for Dragon Ball Z is out of print, and
You're
because they
serious?
dropped it after
Wow.
the Frieza arc. I swear.
They've yeah, they did up. Is the Frieza arc done?
They're done.
So are they gonna do any more, or is that it?
I think it says that they dropped it after the Frieza arc. I guess they weren't just selling enough.
No, I mean when you look at the amount of releases for Dragon Ball Z, I mean there's digital edition, there's the single volumes, there's the Viz Bigs, there's the full color edition. That's 4
3 in
releases.
ones. Yeah.
There's 4 releases. Oh yeah, and the updated 3-in-1s. There are like 5 different releases for Dragon Ball Z, which means that there's 5 different experiences that you can have for the series, which it's been around for long enough. So I mean,
Yeah. And that's definitely a series they can afford to have multiple releases for. Jeez.
yeah. Well, I in my opinion, I don't think Dragon Ball Z should have any sort of problem selling because it's so
Oh yeah.
notorious. I mean, Viz is sitting on a cash cow with Dragon Ball Z, so
Yeah.
So, like, a funny story about going back to High School of the Dead. Back in my freshman year, I never heard of, like, I never heard of this show before. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Because this girl who I liked was, like, big into anime and stuff, and she was, like, me and her were, like, getting along really well. And so she was all like, go home and watch High School of the Dead. And I had, like, heard about it before, but I really didn't know, like, to an extent, like, what it was. So she invited me to, like, to her place to watch High School of the Dead. And we
God.
we watched the first episode. No, we watched the first episode at her house, and I got up and I said, I can't do this. So I left. I left her house, and I went, and so, but I was too curious to say that I wasn't, like, I was intrigued. And so I went home, and I watched the rest of the season that
Oh my
night.
god.
And then I came in the next day, and she said, did you watch it all? I said, yeah. She said, I don't think that was a very comfortable time for you. I said, no, not really. And it was just like, it was really
Did you say
funny.
4 Hail
And
Marys?
I went to confession, actually.
that's
Good idea. Good call. My god, that's great.
Jesus. I don't think I've ever had any of those situations where I just said nope during a manga. Well, actually, yes, Durararar. That is the perfect example of those series that I said nope.
Durararar
This is a fucking
XD.
shit series, and I know I'm going to trigger a lot of people in the comments.
This is
But
okay.
I hate Durararar. It is so bad. Like, it is
Oh,
terrible.
Now,
gosh.
Here's the thing. I used to love that series, and I say used to just because it's been years now since I've seen it. But I remember first I watched the anime. Like I loved it so much, and then like the second season came out, and I sort of lost interest in it and never finished that. But yeah, I'm interested to go back with the manga now because I don't know what I'm gonna think of it.
The concept is so interesting, like the whole like gangs and like different
Yeah.
like encounter, like that's all interesting. But you pick up the manga and all it is boring story with overarching story arcs that go in between like moments. Like one moment there'll be people typing on a computer screen, and then all of a sudden there'll be 2 girls who are like, I want to commit suicide. Okay, get in the suitcase. Like what? What's going on? I don't know
One
what's
thing
going on.
that I've developed this problem with this series. I don't remember much of it now, but I've developed this problem with it, and I feel like just a lot of like everything in that series is connected, but I feel like a lot of it is really forced. Like, oh, the leader of the gang was your best friend the whole time. I'm like,
Ooh.
what? And it's like, oh, and he's also the leader of this gang, and they're also his dad is the serial killer. I'm like, what?
I'd be
But yeah,
very
I-
interested. I've read the first arc of Durarara, but like, I don't know if I could force myself to read the second, third, or I think there's even a fourth arc. I don't know. There's like a lot of books
Well-
of the series, so
Yeah, I think the book series is finished, but I'm pretty sure it's like 14 volumes or something.
Jesus.
So it'll be a while if they plan to do a manga for all of that. But yeah.
There's actually another story I have involving Durarara too.
Juicy.
But this is completely different. This I was in a theater class, and
Ew.
there was like we had to like interview a certain character like from somewhere. So like I've never seen Durarara before. Okay, let me just get that out of the way. The comment section might like crucify me or something, but what happened is like, so I like we had been like randomly put with people, and so this girl was like a Durarara character, and I had like no idea. I had no idea, but I was like interviewing her, but she started like giving lines from the anime and like saying stuff from the anime, and I couldn't stop. Like I was
My
so
drill is
embarrassed
the
to be
drill
up there.
that pierces
Like-
the heavens.
Like I was sitting there, and like she was like giving lines from the anime, and she gets up in the middle of the interview and it starts like singing the anime opening on stage. And I was sitting there
Was
just
she
like,
singing in
oh my
Japanese?
god, yes she was. And I was sitting there, I was like, oh, are you kidding
the
me?
only thing more beautiful
And, like,
I can imagine is Harold singing Sonochino Sadame on stage.
No, and I was sitting there, and I had like no idea what was happening, and like I just no joke just stood up. Like she had the microphone and everything. There's like in the theater class like probably about 50 kids, and like my teacher me and her made eye contact. I just stood up and I walked off stage, and I was all like,
she should have.
I was like, you can fail me. I ain't doing this,
Would have been better.
dude. I was straight up just like,
That or any fairy tale opening. That would have been great.
Wondering. That's the best story I've ever heard. Imagine being there. That's
High school was a terrible
Jeez.
place. I'm just gonna say. I mean,
No, and what made it what made it even better is the fact that I was the only one who knew what she was talking about, because I heard a collective what, and I was the only one sitting there like red faced, just like, oh my gosh, please stop. I was like, I think I'm gonna have like a vein like pop out of my head from sitting up here.
I don't have many stories like that from high school, but I remember one time I like had finished a test. This was when I was first reading through One Piece, and like I knew I had a test that wouldn't take very long, so I like finished the test, and I brought a volume of One Piece to read while I was waiting for class to end, and I was reading through it, and my teacher like came up to me, and he was like, "Hey, have you read Berserk?"
what?
This wasn't my main teacher. It was like there was a substitute in that day, and he's just like, "Hey, have you read Berserk?" I'm like, no." He's like, "Oh, okay, it's really good." I'm like, "Yeah."
You're like, yeah.
Just so-
And then
It's just such
you're
a
like 10
weird
years later,
interaction.
and you're like, yeah, my substitute teacher recommended me a manga with incest and fucking shit. Ugh.
No.
My youth pastor actually texted me back a few weeks ago, and he goes, "Hey, is there any good like anime I need to watch?" And I was all I said, "Boku no Piku," and then he said, "What's that?" And I said, "Okay, I'm completely kidding. Don't watch that." And I said, "Just go watch My Hero Academia." And he was all like, he actually like came in like a few days after. He said, "Did you really ask me to watch that Boku show?" I was all like, "Which one?" and I was like, because he like got really upset. He was like, "This stupid Boku show," and I was all like, "Academia or Piku?" I was all, he was just like, He never made it specific, but I don't know if he was hating on Academia or Boku no
It was probably
Pico,
My
and I was
Hero
all
'cause
like,
it's a bad series. Just saying.
Ooh. Begone thought. Yeah, okay. At our graduation party, we had shirts.
shoot.
We had T-shirts that people could sign, and like people, we were just going signing everyone's shirt we saw. I wasn't paying any attention, but when I got home and looked at it, someone had actually written Boku no Pico with like a winky face on the back of my shirt, and I had no idea who did it, and it's just weird. Like, I'm like,
Do you
what
still
the
have the
fuck?
shirt?
Yes, I still have the shirt. I can probably dig it up.
Make that the thumbnail.
Yeah, you know what?
We'll
I'll
go
put
ahead
the
and edit.
podcast
No,
video
just
right
don't
now.
make it the thumbnail. Just like edit the picture in, like right here, like just
Yeah.
kind of edit it in.
Yeah.
Low-key.
Yeah, if anyone is like just listening to this, then like go look at the video, and there you go.
I wonder if like you'll like get a text from like one of your friends being like, "Hey, that was me."
Underrated.
I hope not.
So what are we following, guys? What manga series do we hope that don't go out of print in the near future that we're currently reading at the current moment? My Hero, maybe? What if
I
that
mean-
goes out of print?
Wait, what?
I doubt. that
What'd
it
you
ever
say?
will.
Don't doubt. It might become unpopular in the next 20 years and might not even make money.
I missed that. What did you say?
My Hero out of print, maybe?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, they just sped up those releases to get them out before they all
Go.
go out of print. Yeah.
I have
What
a
was
bad
it?
feeling, but I feel
What?
like Goodnight Pun Pun is a series that's going to go out of print. I don't know why. It just... I find that it's a series that would.
Maybe.
Hold up, let me just go put in my Amazon cart.
Not anytime soon, I don't think. But
I don't know. They're a quality release, and Inio Asano. The thing with him is that a lot of his work doesn't really go out of print because it sells really well. With the exception of A Girl on the Shore, which we don't talk about. But
and I think that was another. What publisher did that?
Vertical
I'm trying
did A
to-
Girl on the Shore, which
was
was
Vertical?
which is why I mentioned it. But,
Shoot.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I can figure maybe Goodnight Pun Pun, because Hologram goes out of print all the time. I feel like it goes out of print for like a month, and then it comes back in, and then everyone's happy again. But like Solonin, that usually stays in print, and Viz has been on an Asano binge for like, I don't know how long, but a few years now, and they've just been basically printing a bunch of shit from him. So
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting his new series. That
yeah,
they just printed.
that's what I've been hearing. I've been hearing it's been really good, so I'll have to check that out in the near future.
Wait, Asano?
Yeah, it's called what? Dead Demons, Dead Destruction, which is literally the title. Like,
DDDDD. Go ahead and enter King DDD pictures with flashing strobe lights. Go ahead and revive the Beverly Hills meme right here, Gear. Beverly Hills.
well, we did that last time too, but sure.
Do it again. It's a great it's a great song.
Personally, I'm sad that Boba Bo got
It's
put out
so
of print.
funny though. Like Viz printed an omnibus volume, which was just like volumes 18, 19, and 20, and they stopped it after volume 6. So like there's a gap between volume 6 to 18, and nobody knows what happened. So I don't know. I think there was probably a mess in translation or something, but they printed the wrong volumes.
So right now, I've basically been like reading this like list of out of print manga on this like Reddit, this one Reddit, and it's like I've basically just been like reading all these like stuff that I just like didn't think, like Kokoro Connect, Defrag. I didn't even know that was like out of print. Dot Hack, Fruits Basket.
Well, Fruits Basket got picked up again, so that's
Yeah, it got picked up again. Dinosaur King.
what.
Oh man,
Gintama.
Dinosaur King.
What
the
about
classic.
Chaotic, the best card game ever?
Oh yeah,
It's
I love
true.
me some Danish card games with hit television series.
Oh yeah, the
Get
monster
chaotic.
singles. I
Right.
knew the Shaman King. It
That's
says
a
it
fucking
is out of
lie.
print.
Ooh, fake news.
The Yu-Gi-Oh singles, the Uzumaki singles, and the Vagabond singles.
Well, Uzumaki definitely.
Yeah,
but
Ultron.
I mean, yeah, like there's a lot of Viz series where like they had old singles and
But
then
a
they
lot
just
of
made
it, yeah, like you
omnibus
said, a lot of
versions.
those Viz series were printed early on when they were first starting out, and they just didn't sell
Yeah.
well, so they took them off. And then eventually, when they started establishing themselves as like a manga publisher, they started bringing all those series back into print, which gives me some sort of hope that they start printing a lot of their other series that haven't seen the light of day. I don't think Phoenix is going to be a series that ever sees the light of day because really Osamu Tezuka, his work is so dated, and that's sort of the problem I have with artwork. I love beautiful artwork, but it's a big turnoff for a lot of people. Like, if the artwork is shit, they don't want to touch
Yeah.
it. So
I don't understand. Come on now.
And like,
I don't understand.
I don't think like his art is bad. It's just very
it's
different
old.
and
It's
more
like if you
cartoony
compare
and-
the Disney cartoons from the 1950s to the current
Yeah.
Disney that we have
Yeah,
today.
you can tell it's really inspired by
That's
that
what I
type
mean.
of stuff.
So I
But yeah.
guess you just got to be kind of like a history junkie to really like that stuff. But it's the style of
Yeah.
storytelling. Like, if you just look at some of that stuff,
Yeah.
it's really good. So I don't know. People are missing out.
Mm.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
One opinion that I really have is like, I honestly like Sowanen. I bought it and I
It
think
is.
that it's gonna be
It's
really
great.
good. But I honestly think that the art looks ugly.
Really?
Really?
Like I like some of the designs I just think are really.
One of the things
Ugly
I
to
love
me.
about Asano is that a lot of his stories are crafted and modeled after like real life kind of scenarios. A lot of
Yeah.
his, not necessarily his main characters, but like the setting that they take place in. A lot of that stuff is gained by heavy inspiration with like real world interactions, and that's something I really like about his stories. Goodnight Pun Pun has some of the most beautiful scenic backdrops I have ever seen.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean
Because he uses real photography
and
for
I mean,
it,
I say
right?
that, seemingly, and I don't really talk about it, but Goodnight Pun Pun is up there with my top 5. I don't talk about it a lot,
yeah.
but I say that, pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's a really good story. Solonin,
Yeah.
if it was a series, I would say it was pretty good, but as a one-shot and standing on its own, I would say it was really, really good. So, don't sit on it, Shrug.
yeah,
Definitely read
sure.
it. It's a good series.
Yeah. It's great.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna read it. It's just the fact that
The artwork. No, I
Yeah.
get you. I get you with the artwork. For oftentimes you're either a story buff or you're an artwork buff. Either the artwork turns you off or the story turns you off, or a little bit of both. But personally, I think if there's a fine balance between the two, if not one thing is so great, but the one other thing is great, then I think that's more than enough to keep you on board. But others might think different. I don't know. All right. Well, I think it's appropriate now that we move into the aftercast. We've been going for about an hour now. Go ahead and talk for a few minutes about some of the things that are going on in our lives.
Infinity
God,
War.
I don't want to hear anything about
Yeah.
fucking Infinity War and how it's better than Spider-Man 3, which is where we were going with the intro. Spider-Man 3 is so good, guys. Best movie of all time. I love it.
Yes, of course. In fact, it has better CGI.
I
than Black
remember
Panther,
going to
so.
see Spider-Man 3 for the first time, and it was hilarious going into that movie because I remember because there was a really big gap between Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. I think 2007 when it came out, and Spider-Man 2 came out in 2004.
Yeah, it was like-
so it was like
Yeah, so
really a
3-year
long
gap.
time. So it's like, okay, well, the hype's there. We knew that there was going to be a final movie, and this was the best one. But Spider-Man 3 has some really good visuals. It has just the shittiest fucking story I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what they did with the movie, but honestly,
Oh
like,
my god.
the movie drags for an hour of just emo Peter Parker going through the biggest midlife crisis at age 20 or however old he is in the movie. It is just terrible. Like, I don't know what they were doing with that movie. The direction was really poor in my
Yeah.
opinion, but
I don't I don't know if that was actually meant to be the final one, because I'm pretty sure I remember like Spider-Man 4 being a thing before it getting canned.
I don't know.
So-
I don't think it was. I do know that Andrew Garfield was supposed to get a Amazing Spider-Man 3 because
I think
Sinister
Toby
Six.
was just getting too old at
But
that
then
point,
he got
and I
the
think
can.
by that time they were
Yeah.
just like,
I mean, he was already pretty old.
That's
to
what I
begin
mean,
with.
but he didn't age. But he aged after
Yeah.
after the Spider-Man trilogy came out. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they just decided, Sony just decided to hand the torch off to a new director, which maybe was the best idea, because despite Spider-Man 3 being really a bad movie, and it's not the worst movie, but just quality-wise in comparison to the first two, it did pretty well in the box office. I mean, I think because it was a Sony movie, it was it definitely had a budget, and it definitely was a well-produced movie. Just the dialogue was awful, and the story, I think, could have been done better, and some of the casting choices were obviously awful, but it could have been a lot better. Let's just put it that way. It could have been a good Spider-Man conclusion, but it wasn't.
I'm very glad that they partnered with Marvel to do for Tom Holland, because
Oh man, I absolutely love Tom Holland. Like no
Tobey
joke.
Maguire forever. Hashtag
Like
Tobey Maguire.
like Toby is my second favorite Spider-Man.
ooh.
I don't know how you could say this, Shrug. I thought we had something going here, but
Honestly, to be honest, I think Tom Holland's the best too.
I can't.
Especially after Infinity War.
I
He was
can't.
just
I
amazing
can't.
in
I
that.
can't deal.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, yeah. After Infinity War, you just gotta.
Infinity War? What's that?
Shaman,
DC
have you
Justice
seen
League, best
Infinity
movie
War?
of all time, confirmed.
Shaman, have you seen Infinity
I
War?
have
Yeah.
not, and I don't plan on it, but I've heard the spoilers, and I kind of know what happens.
Oh,
so.
you have?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Well, Batman dies.
Confirmed. I mean, and honestly, like, I thought the Astro Boy, like the Easter egg at the end of the movie was amazing. Like, just I like that he flies in there and is
my
like, "Hey
favorite
guys,
part was
I'm
the-
here to save the world and friendship power up." Fairy tale.
yeah, my favorite part was at the end when it revealed that Thanos was actually in the Oasis from Ready Player One, and he was just playing.
Oh yeah,
the
he
game the
took
whole
off the
time.
mask.
Oh yeah, and also I love that Spider-Man dies at the end of the film.
What? Hold on now.
Well, if we're going there, then I mean, I cried. I cried.
Oh, and
that
also I
happened.
love the fact that Batman comes in and dies at the end of the film too. That's pretty fucking awesome. Let's be honest.
Yes,
Okay.
I agree.
I guess you're right on that one.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. I don't even know if Spider-Man dies. If he does, awesome, because fuck that guy who plays Spider-Man. Fuck Tom
He
Holland.
does die.
Hashtag fuck Tom Holland. If you guys want to start another Twitter hashtag, go ahead and vote. Fuck Tom Holland. I'm going to start a Twitter poll whether or not Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland end up... I don't fucking know where I was going with that. Anyways,
actually does die.
Beverly Hills! Alright. So, yeah, I think that just about wraps up the out of print talk.
Good.
I don't know. Do you guys have any closing comments you want to make?
Well, Shaman, you may be wrong about Spider-Man, but you've got some pretty good out-of-print manga.
Well, I'm glad you agree. Out of print haul coming out soon, boys. Not self-promotion.
Out of print is lame. It doesn't support the industry. Tune into my new manga haul soon, where I have some fresh new.
My Hero
retail
sucks.
pickups.
Anyways, thank you all for watching. See you guys next time.
Oh.
Hope you all enjoyed this cast. Thank you again, Shrug Pod, for joining us as a main OG. Hopefully, we'll have you on for another episode. I don't know what we'll be talking about next episode. Do you guys know? What was the plan?
My Hero Academia.
Oh, that's right. I won't be on that episode. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed Year Third manga reviews. Commentary, unfortunately. Anyways, thank you all for watching. See you guys next time. Have an awesome day, and peace out.
I know it's time to raise the hand that draws the line and be so wonderful.